Hello everyone and good morning. It's getting to be more beautiful spring out here in Minnesota. Still not super great because we've had a lot of freezing rain and that wonderful jazz, but we're getting closer, waiting for the frost to go out so I can build some fence to keep the deer out of my gardens this year. Last year was kind of a disaster. Anyways, so this week, I think as I've been talking with people and doing my Carrie thing, I think the thing that struck me the most is that so many of us we're looking to find more peace in our lives. And this peace is proving to be a very elusive beast. It's just really hard to find some peace in this chaos, let's be real. So I kind of started doing some thinking back, and I have this list of notes on my phone that I keep, that I have like little insights I've gained and things I've heard that I really wanted to remember, and all that kind of stuff. And I kind of started looking back, and there's something in there that caught my eye, and I decided to latch onto that for this week. So what I found in there is this phrase. And it says, peace isn't the absence of something, it's the presence of something greater. And so I kind of started looking back, like in my own life, and thinking there was 25 years of my life that was significantly chaotic. I have stories I could tell. Different time, different place. But there was a lot of chaos, a lot of conflict, just never ending, it felt like. And so there was a period of time where I was trying as hard as I could to fix my situation. I was looking to try to make ways that my family had 4 kids, ex-husband, but at the time, we were married and had this house and kids, and my kids were, the youngest are 8 years apart, so significant level of either infancy to now we're moving into kids with sports and things like that. And it's like the chaos, you think it's going to get better, but no, you go from diaper changing to, you go from don't touch that to don't smoke that. It's always something. So I was always looking for something that would be fulfilling, to remove something, remove someone. That annoying boss, coworker, your housework, the oil changes, the normal house maintenance, things be real. Let's be real. It's sometimes it's your spouse or your kids. They're the annoying ones, right? You think to yourself, if only my wife or husband, or whatever your perspective, for me, it was my husband. But whatever that looks like, if he could just be, more supportive, more fun, make more money, whatever, if only your kids would be the ones like those over there that you see in church, sitting so cute and pretty, more obedient. Would you just clean your room like I've asked you for the 100th time type thing? Why can't my kids be the ones that more compliant, whatever, more obedient, more on fire for Jesus, whatever. So it's like we always think that there's something that if we take something out, our lives will be better. And, no matter what I took out, it never got better because some other ugly thing just replaced it. Again, when you got teenagers, you're constantly kind of like, oh, well, that was new and that was different. And the constant battle of kind of helping them think, critically. And they have this great plan, but very well that's never going to work. But how much can you say before you crush their spirit? That kind of thing. So I spent a lot of time trying to fix my surroundings, trying to get my ducks to all waddle together. Life would be good if all my ducks would be in a row. But no matter what I did, none of that made a difference. I was always chaotic. I was stressed, irritable, tired all the time. Like nothing filled that gap. Nothing made me feel more in control, more content, more peaceful. So then kind of what came, is what sometimes a lot of us get to, is you get a case of the aphids, which you just kind of back away from everything. I kind of gave up and crawled in a hole and just decided it was going to be what it was going to be. I gave up, And so, but through all that, my quest for peace never changed. I still wanted it. I just didn't know how to get it. So I came to a few realizations. Number one, I was never going to get others to move in my direction, all the time. All my planning and organization, yeah, it's great. Got to have some of it. But every day somebody threw a monkey wrench in my works, in my little planner thing, you know what I mean? So I had to kind of let go of what I thought my day was supposed to be like, or what I thought so-and-so was supposed to do, and they didn't hold up their end. Take a deep breath, ask God for strength, because in order to gain peace, I had to give up a few things. Doesn't quite sound right, because you think if you're going to gain peace, you're going to get that yacht, win that lottery, get that perfect whatever, you know what I mean? Buy that new car, whatever it is. You think that you're going to add something to your life and it's going to be right. And after years of that, I think most of us can attest that it never worked. Nothing's ever going to be perfectly right. So anyway, better get some more coffee. If you didn't have any, you probably should get some. So I identified a few things in my life that I had to give up, and yours could be different. But mine, I had to give up my need to be right. To feel like I had to make a point, have the last word, fix every situation. That's not my job. I had to give up my need to be right. That was a hard one. I had to give up my desire for a picture perfect family. Who doesn't want that? But no family's picture perfect. Back in my old church with my old family, everybody thought we were picture perfect. We were not. Everybody's got stuff. And that husband, those kids, they're not yours to fix. They're God's to do with as he wants. And God can only work in the space that people allow him into. So, your husband, your wife, your kids, whatever, if they don't enlarge their space for God, there's nothing you're going to do to fill that or fix that. Your job is to pray and usually be quiet and let God work. So I had to give that up. I had to give up my need to jump into every situation. I was a fixer. My kid needed something. I'm like, okay, how can we get this done? And half the time I was doing more work than they were, because this kid needs to go, hunting or whatever. His grades suck. Okay, let's get him up. Kid's job, not mine. And sometimes I realized in some people's lives, okay, they had done whatever actions they had, and God was going to work in their life. God had them where he wanted them, and I jumped in and saved them. Bad, Carrie. But that's the way it was. I felt like I needed to help everybody. My need to be correct. I burst my kids' balloons quite a few times before I realized, how it is when your kids kind of say something and it's off the wall and it's like a pipe dream and they think it's really going to work. And you're like, no way, it can't, life doesn't work that way. But instead of jumping in with that and saying, yeah, that's dumb, don't do that, that'll never work, and here's all the 15 reasons why. Quiet. Okay, kiddo, I hope that works out for you. I hope you work hard at it. That sounds like it's a great dream. I hope you can do a lot of work towards that. You know what I mean? It wasn't my job to burst their balloon. Life was going to do that. I didn't need to jump in. My desire for more things, go on more trips, have more things. It's not a bad deal to want things, but if it becomes your goal, it's taken place of God and it becomes an idol. For me, it wasn't necessarily possessions and stuff, but I would have loved to like travel more, and all that takes money, right? So when you start to like want those things above other things that are probably more important, then again, your peace goes out the window. So after all that, you'll have to pick your own scenarios in your own life where you kind of like give up your peace. But where can peace be found? I mean, if it was really dependent on our circumstances, we'd all be waiting a long time for the right alignment and the infinite number of variables to all come together just right. Probably the biggest example of this is, back in, they think about like evolution, a Big Bang theory. The Big Bang created all of this. How long would it have taken, if that were true, to have all the pieces come together to make all the things we see today? More time than I've got. So anything you're looking and waiting for to have order made out of chaos, you're going to be waiting a long time. Like, never. It's never going to happen. So how do we make order? Or how do we let God make order? Because my world's never going to be orderly. So I said something before about peace, the absence of conflict. But so biblical peace is more than the absence of conflict. It's the presence of harmony and feeling complete and whole. So I'm going to repeat. Peace is not the absence of something. It's the presence of something. Okay. And we know that's going to be God's presence, because my presence, that's not going to help. Already tried that. So if we're going to keep God's presence with us, even when our world is out of order, obviously there's a lot of scriptures about this, about, keeping God present in our life. And I'm just going to throw out a bunch of them. And again, some of them are just his promises to us. And some of them are about things like we need to be aware of, initiate contact, spend time. Like there's all sorts of things that we can do to increase our peace and feel more of God's presence, because God's presence is the only place we're going to feel peace in this chaotic place we live in. So we're going to start from a couple scripture verses here. James 4:8, come near to God and he will come near to you. We've heard that before, but it says come near to God. You come near to God. You will make known to me the path of life. In your presence is fullness of joy. In your right hand are pleasures forever. Psalm 16:11. So we're going to find joy in his presence that you're going to come near to. You're going to do that work. John 14:16 and 17. I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate to help you and be with you forever. That would be the Holy Spirit that he sent us, that you can tap into anytime you want. Again, you have to seek it out. 1 Corinthians 3:16, don't you know that you yourselves are God's temple and that God's Spirit dwells in your midst? If God's Spirit is here, what are we doing ignoring it? He's here. Sometimes when I can't do the work myself, I'm too stressed out to even crack open my Bible. I'll open my Spotify playlist or Pandora, whatever you got. Turn on some worship music, start to sing. If you only got a croak it. Do something that gets yourself out of your presence and into his presence, and music can do that. Cast your cares on the Lord and he will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken. Psalm 55:22. Cast your cares. You got to do it. You can ask him, Jesus, please take these from me. But you have to be willing. Psalm 46:1, God is our refuge and ever-present help in trouble. Again, a promise. He's here. Matthew 11:28, you've heard this. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Come to me. You're going to be doing a lot of coming towards God. He's asking you to come into his presence. Philippians 4:6, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. In every situation, by prayer and petition, you're asking, you're seeking him with thanksgiving. Throw a chunk of gratefulness in there. Be thankful for what you do have, even if it's not much. When you're thankful for the little you have, it's a lot. A couple more. Psalms 119, 165. Great peace have those who love your law. Nothing can make them stumble. Love God's law. Wrap it around you. Stay within it. Let him help you. Nothing can make you stumble if you stay within God's law. Last one, Isaiah 26:3. You will keep perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. So the last thing that we have to consider is that, is God big enough and is he worthy of your trust? Even if your situation's really, really cruddy, is he worthy of that trust? Seems like he's set up a lot of ways to connect with you, coming down to earth, being here in person. I can tell you in my life, I've been through a lot of really crummy situations and he's never once let me down. So think about that for this week. Come to him. He's going to give you the peace, even if your life's full of chaos. Get a little more coffee. That always helps too.